Hey folks, before we start the video, here's our friend, Sheridan. Who's the big boy? Oh, he's doing better. Well, he's doing as well as we can expect. But Sheridan wants me to talk to you about Spring Awakening, the new game from Decision Games, World at War. And guess what? Right there it is. And don't you love that tank? It's not a tank. It's a self-propelled gun. Now, you have a subscription to this magazine, right? Well, I do, and it's one of the better things that I've got, again, was being sensible and having one. Spring Awakening is, of course, the Germans' last offensive, the Third Reich's last offensive. And where would that be? Well, they're gone towards Hungary. Hitler comes in from a lot of criticism from his generals and from some historians as to putting folks there rather than on the Vistula. Well, that's true. Or putting them on the Oder. Again, also sort of true. But where was Germany's their very last source of oil? It was the Hungarian oil fields. So Hitler, unlike his general staff, at least had a more basic grasp of economics than they did. So that leads to this battle. And Ollie, of course, is licking my legs. Now let's take a look at the issue here. All right. Spring Awakening. Yeah, there it is. There's the cover shot. And one of my favorite pictures right here of 16-year-old Willy Hübner is getting the Iron Cross second class from Goebbels. And of course, they talk about the Hungarian front, but here we see the Soviet defensive scheme here for the battle. So we will then go ahead and the rules. How many pages of rules are there? And of course, you know this is a Thai bomba game, right? Not. It's Joe Miranda. How about that, folks? I'm not going to be playing a bomba game for a while. And this is 16 pages of rules. Correction. Yeah, there it is. R16 in the bottom corner. So we'll see how this shakes out. Let's see if the counters... Okay, counters are thankfully not strange. Attack factor, defense factor, movement factor, and air units for support, command markers, and a series of admin markers there. So, we'll see in a minute. We'll open the game up. Let's look at the counters. Your Germans, your Hungarians. Let's see, you got a Zhukov counter. You've got a Stalin counter, which is probably a Stavka counter. You've got artillery support. Very nice. We've got a flotilla. And we've got your Soviets. And what's nice here is you got your second Ukrainian front and your third Ukrainian front, so that you can easily tell them apart by the color scheme. So one sheet of counters alone. That's all that is for this game. And let's take a look. Let's take a look at the back here. I like the bridgeheads. And same kind for the Soviets. So nice enough. We'll then see how easy they punch out, though. The map. All right, let's shrink this son of a gun down some. There is your map. Big hexes, of course, Buda and pest, oil field, key for them, oil field. So big hexes. Okay, and you're going to say, well, so I didn't get much of a map with this game. Well, okay. Then let's go over here to the tables. You've got the assault table. And you know, for me, I hate having to do these percentages. I've never liked these percentages. I've never liked having to do them. So that will probably cause somebody to be unhappy, but I just don't like doing those. You've got the picture, the famous picture of the king tigers all lining up. Then you've got your terrain. You've got your terrain chart here. For the axis displays, you've got reinforcements, command markers, eliminated markers, airstrikes, support. And we only have 6 turns. We go up pretty much to the final collapse of the Third Reich. Now, do these tables match up then with the Soviet tables? And I'm looking at them upside down, and they seem to sort of, let me just make certain, ASAS, Alpha Alpha. So they seem to match up. All right, and the Soviet table is much the same as the German. You also have some other charts here. A refit chart, air superiority, out of supply charts, and you got Axis command markers that are then also mirrored by Soviet command markers, and Führer directives. National Socialist Order. No retreat. Berlin front priority. Festung. SF cuff ban order. A little bit of interesting thinking there. So, we'll find out how this goes. But again, let's look at the map again. I'll be curious as to see what you folks think. I like big hexes. I've come to be quite the fan of big hexes. As always, we'll talk about 2 books. I happen to like Ian Kershaw a great deal as an author. This book is a very well done book, dealing with the end of the Third Reich. But why, and this tells you somebody in the publishing industry chose this cover, because this cover is usually attributed to PK3's advancing in Operation Typhoon. So, you know, it mars the book a little in a sense. Kershaw probably doesn't know that. Kershaw should have known that, though. But regardless, it's a good book. Then, of course, there's the Max Hastings book, Armageddon, which is probably the best single volume of the collapse of Nazi Germany in 1944, 1945. Very readable. Although I think his Retribution, his book on the fall and collapse of Imperial Japan, is a more compelling read. But the 2 books, The End by Kershaw, Armageddon by Max Hastings, but they don't come with Petunia. Do they, Petunia? Petunia could care less. So, we look forward to this game, Spring Awakening. It could easily be fun. And it's not a tie bomber game, folks. Thanks as always. Bye.